Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. So in today's video, I'm going to tell about the role of the week series, that is generative AI engineer. So after a long gap, I have been back with the role of the week series, and today I'm going to discuss about what exactly the roles and responsibilities of generative AI engineer, as well as the skills that are required to become a generative AI engineer, and also the salary ranges. So let us dive deep into the video. But before that, I just want to give some context about that. So one of the person have been commented on in my video that he needs some guidance about the generative AI roadmap, as well as the challenges in this field too. So for that, for creating the entire roadmap, that is first what you have to learn and then next what, so this covers in the roadmap. So for that, I just want to give a glimpse that what exactly the generative AI engineer does and exactly the skills of that particular role. So that's why I have created this video and been uploading this week, and also will be soon make the video of the exact generative AI roadmap. Okay, so we will be discussing that in our next videos, but this will be a very glimpse of the generative AI role, and it will be very useful for the people who really want to start for the generative AI engineer roles. So let us dive deep into the video. Before that, I would like to thank to all my subscribers who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, and also requesting to the new watchers to please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. So let us dive deep into the video. So what is the role of generative AI? So firstly, I will tell generative AI people always deals with text data, mostly text data, as such as images, video, etc., etc. So the role of generative AI engineer is mainly deals with the designing, developing, as well as optimizing the AI models, which will create these text, images, code, etc. So they mainly deals with the models like GPT, BERT, Llama, all about large language models. Okay, like Claude, etc., etc. So there are multiple models, but I don't want to tell about all those because that will become a very lengthy video. So they deals with all these kind of stuff. Okay, so all these roles, like all these models, will be very important for them in their development. So the generative AI engineer will do will mainly involve this kind of activities in his day-to-day role. Okay, day-to-day role activities. Coming to the exact stuff that they do, first, they will deal with AI model development. That means they will design, train, as well as fine-tune the generative AI models like GPT, etc. Okay, and they will deal with some data engineering activities like they gather, pre-process, and manage large data sets for their model training. Because for a particular model to get the input, that is to get the knowledge base, first they should gather the data and pre-process. So they will deal with some data engineering activities too. And again, if it's a big company, the data engineering people will serve as an input for this engineers. Okay, but usually they will deal with this. And then the prompt engineering. I have told about this prompt engineering in many of the times in our generative LLM series. So basically, this prompt engineering is a branch which is emerging, and it deals with how to design prompts and how to specify prompts and how to design the templates, prompt templates for the input of like to give to the LLM models in your applications. So it is very important. So this is one branch. So they should know about prompt engineering. They should know how to optimize the prompts, how to make embeddings, like how to optimize the embeddings for better model responses. So this is one of the key responsibility of the generative AI engineer. And then they also deal with model deployment and optimization. So mostly like we know that developers will do almost many of the activities, but in the recent times, like from 2015 around or 2017, like that, so the DevOps have been emerging. So DevOps people will deal with the deployment as well as the development and operations, right? So, and coming to the machine learning field, they have the AI MLOps engineer, that is MLOps engineer or AOps engineer. So all these people will deal with deployment as well as optimization for the development people what they build. So this is one of the primary responsibility too for a generative AI engineer. So they should know about the deployment process, the deployment platform, the deployment terminology. So all these things need to be very understandable by the people who are coming to the generative AI engineer side. So they should know about this thing. So this also be a responsibility for them. Okay. The next one is evaluation and bias mitigation. So we know we have to evaluate how the model is doing, right? So how our teachers will assess us from class 1 to PG, like class 1 till KG to the PG. So we have been giving a lot of examinations, everything every year, and they will assess our annual report, and they will say, okay, this guy is good, so this guy has this much percentage, okay, this guy is suitable for this job, so it's fine like that. Okay, right? So we have been evaluating from our day-to-day studies, like from KG to PG. So similarly, we have to evaluate the models, right? So this is also one of the responsibility. They should know the evaluation process, how to evaluate the models. So the basic terminology, like the basic metrics for these generative AI models are like BLU score, ROG score, FID, fidelity index, and perplexity. I think I have made this a particular separate video of how to evaluate the generative AI and LLM models. So those who haven't watched it, go and watch it. Okay. And the next one is collaboration with the teams. So this is very important, not only for generative engineering, but for every role, because always you should feel that you have to be collaborative with each other, you have to learn each other, you have to share each other. That is very important in every domain, in every field. Okay. So always be collaborative with each other and share the knowledge with each other. Okay. And the next one is experimentation and research. So always from your childhood, you have been experimenting and doing research, right? Because everybody will tell you the concept, but whenever you practice on your own, then you can know the exact advantages and disadvantages of particular part, right? So this is, and especially the generative AI field is all about experimenting and research, because nobody knows how the model will give, how the model will perform. It's always tuning, understanding, learning from the experience, because the model should understand. Then whenever if you give the new data, it should perform well. So it's all about experimentation and research. So, and also people who, not only in this field but every field, always make sure you have to up to date yourself. Like suppose if your company is following one tool, you obviously will do that, but you have to know about the aware of the technologies, what happening, the advancement, so that you have to be stay up to date in the current field, okay, current industry, so that you can know the faults as well as advantages, and you can suggest the new things too, right? So always make sure you should do experiment, you should do research, and you can come up with your own analysis. Okay, so these are the primary roles and responsibilities of generative AI engineer. Okay, coming to the skills, so you should have this particular skills. So machine learning and deep learning, these are the primary things that you should know, like TensorFlow package, PyTorch, scikit-learn. All these frameworks are very important for the people in this domain. And the natural language processing, like transformers and all the models. I have mentioned only few models here, but there are so many models. You should know at least the basics of that, how it is working, etc. And the computer vision concept like GANs, stable diffusion, variable autoencoders, etc. And then you should know the data pre-processing. This is very important, because without data you can't do anything, right? So always you should know the pre-processing techniques. You should know the packages like pandas, numpy, and SQL. SQL is one of the primary skill for everyone in the data field. Those who are coming to the data field, they should know this, they should study this. Of course, this is very important for the developers too, like these the software engineers too, but for the data persons, these are very important. So always master the SQL to the beginners who want to start your domain in the data side. And then deployment, I have talked about the deployment as a responsibility of a generative engineer. So they should know the tools related to the deployment, that is Docker, Kubernetes, Fast API, Flask, Jenkins, etc. There are so many, but I mentioned few. Okay, so you should know all those tools, at least you should have understand. And cloud and ML ops. So These are the basic things that you should know, not only for generative AI engineer, but also for data people, any role in the data side, as well as the software people too, because now every the process and the velocity and the speed of the data have been increased, and almost people who are consuming the applications have been increased. So most of the companies have been moved to cloud, so that which is a very good solution for anything in nowadays. So if you want to start your field in any domain, the basic thing that you should know is cloud computing. And I would say don't confuse with multiple clouds, because everything has one or more similar services. The thing that you should know is you have to get one particular cloud very good understanding, and how you will perform like how you will perform your activities by using the services in that particular cloud. So the major cloud providers are AWS, GCP, Azure, which many companies are using. So always make sure to master one. And of course, some companies have their own internal cloud specific to the company. But to know, to understand, and to learn cloud computing, just start with either one, either AWS, GCP, or Azure. So my preference is, like, I like AWS more, because I feel that documentation is more easy. Of course, these both are also good, but my opinion is that, so my experience, not opinion too. So that's why for one people one thing seems easy, right? So that's why, like that, for me AWS is good. So AWS is easy, not good. Everything are good, so that's why they are using. So that's so I love AWS much. So you can start with any of your own cloud and start prepare for certifications, which is very helpful for understanding the basics. So for AWS we have cloud practitioner, solution architect, developer associate, and then for every role, for data engineer you have data engineering specialization certificate, for machine learning people machine learning, generative AI people like that. So just first start the practitioner things, like the basic level, and then the foundation level certificates, and then the associate level, and then coming to the specialization level. GCP and Azure also will have, like for Azure you have DP 1 to 100 something like that, and GCP also we have some digital leader certification around like that. So make sure to select one thing and master that, okay? And ML flow, this is very particular to the generative AI people as well as machine learning engineer. So this is a tool for tracking and for entire deployment process. You should know this to apply to this generative AI engineer role. And then version control and collaboration, this is very important for almost all roles, and which is also very important for the deployment people as well as generative AI engineers. So that is Git, GitHub, and CI/CD pipelines like Jenkins, etc. So master this. And then mathematics and statistics. So many of you have been wondering that for the people like in the PUC or in the intermediate standard, so you will choose your groups like MPC and BIPC. Not in USA, I'm talking about India. So that also, especially in South India, in the Andhra side. So you will choose MPC, BIPC like that. And those people who choose MPC, they will choose any stream of their own choice in their intermediate or in their degree, like CAC, EC, etc., etc. But people who are from non-IT also are doing technical jobs. But how it is related? The basic thing is, whatever the things that we are doing in the data side, especially in the data side, also in the software side, but especially in the data side, it's always revolve around the mathematics. What are the themes and the concepts that we are studying, that we are applying to a particular problem in the society, and applying this technology on the top of it, and then we are designing the tools. So always ensure people who are like, if your kids or if your cousins or if your brothers or people who are coming like in the age of 6th standard, make sure to sit and to learn the concepts of mathematics, because it is very helpful to in their future to people who are coming to this side. And not only this side, for everything with respect to technology, that is the IT background. So linear algebra, probability, and optimization, these three are very, very, very important mathematical concepts that every person should know who are coming to this field especially. So I could say these are the primary skills that you should master. And of course, if you are a beginner, first start with Python, first start with SQL. Those two are the preliminary things, like how the alphabet serves you to learn the words. So those two are very, very important for you to learn the technology. So master the Python, master the SQL, and then come to a particular role. Go to my playlist and check out the role what you want to apply, and then start with the skills list that is there in the presentation. So that will help you. Okay. The next one is salary range. So usually this will range from company to company, again state to state, etc. But just I want to do a glimpse of this So usually for the people who are in the entry level, that is around 0 to 2 years, they can get around $60 to $100 per hour for a contract employee, as well as for a full time it will be around 100K to 150K. And for mid level, that is 3 to 5 years, you can expect $100 to $150 per hour for a contract employee, as well as 150K to 200K for full time employee. And for senior level, that is around 6+ years, $150 to $250 for a contract employee, and 200K to $300K for full time employee. I hope you understand this video and get a glimpse of generative AI engineer. Definitely, I will be back with the clear roadmap for generative AI engineer. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.